Today I'm going to go over how to operate a modern tractor and an old tractor. When I bought this, I could not find a video on what all the controls did. Had no clue. I've never messed with tractors before, so I had to learn by fire on how to operate this thing. So I'm going to show you what everything does inside of this and what everything does on my old tractor. So let's get started. So this is a 2016 Mahindra 6110 59 horsepower synchromesh transmission. So this is not a hydrostatic transmission, which means this one has a clutch. I'll show you all of that on the inside, but this is what I've got. So I don't have a script for this video. We're just going to kind of walk through it and I'll explain how things work with it. So let's hop inside here. Okay, so basics, obviously key. If it's cold outside, you want to warm the glow plugs up, and you'll turn it to the glow plug and just let it sit there for a minute to warm those up before you start it. So that's pretty simple for this. Then you've got on, which is like the accessory thing you get in the car, and then it starts. Clutch. So just like a car, you have to put the clutch in to start it, and change gears, you have to put the clutch in. So that's what that is. Over here are the brakes. So right now they're put together because you can press one and you can brake up the left tire, or you can just brake up the right tire. So if you need to make a really sharp turn, that's what you would use that for. But I keep them connected. I haven't had a reason to do that. So that's why there's two pedals. This pedal is if you're bebopping along and you want to speed up a little bit without having to use the actual controller for the speed. You just press on that pedal and you'll get more acceleration out of it. Speaking of this, this is your speed. So you've got the turtle and you got the rabbit down there at the bottom. So that's what this does. If you're going to be running an implement on the back, so a brush hog, finish mower, anything like that, then you have to get the RPMs up here to this spot where it says PTO 540 RPM. So when you're running something in the back, you'll speed the tractor up using this and get it up to that green arrow. So that's what that is. Medium, high, neutral, and low. So I run around in medium most of the time, so that's what this is for. You won't mess with this much unless you need to get a little bit more torque, and then you can drop it from medium down to low, or if you're going down the road, then you could throw it in high and you can go a little bit faster. So that's what this one does. And then on your right, those are the actual gears. So first, second, third, fourth. That's what those do. This thing. So in order to make this tractor move, so let's say I start it, push the brake in, push the clutch in, I start the tractor's running. Put this kind of in what I consider neutral for this. So it's in gear, I have it in medium, and I have it in second gear. So there's second. If it's sitting right here in the middle, the tractor's not going to go anywhere. So if I want to move forward, then with the clutch in, and again this gear enabled and that one enabled, then you push this forward. And now I'll move forward. And then I can take my foot off the clutch and then I'll start moving. If I want to go in reverse, got to push the clutch in, grab this, pull it all the way back, and now I can go in reverse. Hard part about this tractor, because you have to use the clutch, is if you're doing a lot of front and back and having to go back and forth on this, it's a lot of pushing the clutch in and out constantly. And man, after a while, your thigh will start to get a little bit tired. But that's how you make this thing move. So again, clutch in, turn it on, make sure you've got it in gear, whatever that is. Again, medium for me, and right now it's in second. Put this thing forward, take your foot off the clutch, and she'll start to move. So that's what this does. This is for the bucket. Now what's really nice is it tells you what it does. So if you want to lift the bucket, you pull back. If you want to drop it down, you pull forward. If you want to bring the bucket up to the left, and if you want to put the bucket down, the actual bucket itself, not the whole thing, then you go to the right. That's what this does. This is for the back, for the PTO. This will raise and lower the PTO. So if I pull it all the way back, then the PTO, which is in the back here, let me open this up so you can see, which is, you know, that thing and that thing, those things will raise up and lower down, and that's where you attach and implement something you're going to use, like a brush hog. And you raise and lower it with this. This is the draft control, which I haven't used. Now, what I've been told with this is this helps with the implement on where it moves in relation to the ground. So if you're doing like soil work, you can mess with this draft and get it so that it's sitting in a right spot, or you can get it that it'll float. I've never messed with this. Someday maybe I will, but that's what this is. This is kind of an auxiliary. Right now it's not connected to anything, at least that I can find. It doesn't do anything, so I just leave it alone. But I'm assuming if you put something else on this tractor, I don't know, something else besides the bucket, maybe something in the back. I'm not sure, honestly. But I've never had to mess with this, so that just sits there. So I think that's everything up here in the front. This is the lights and horn, turn signals, hazards. This thing right here at the bottom. This is to run the PTO that's in the back of the tractor. So when you have the clutch engaged, you'll grab this. Let me see if I can do this. So push the clutch in, grab this thing, and it lifts up. Okay, so now it's not engaged yet, but it's ready to be engaged. And I'll show you what the PTO is in the back here in a second. But that thing's ready, and when I want to get the PTO to start spinning, which again I'll show you, press this button. And when you do this, a light will come up on the dashboard telling you that the PTO is engaged. So again, say I hook a brush hog up to this thing, I can move these up and down to get it where the brush hog is. With this lever, I can connect it. It's connected. I get to where I need to use it. Drop your RPM all the way down to the turtle. It'll run at about 1,000 RPM. Make sure you have the clutch engaged. And then again, this, the PTO shaft, or the controller, I mean, you pull that up. Push that button, it'll light up, and then you know that the PTO is spinning, and then I'll speed the tractor up after that, which again, this is the RPM, and then you can lower whatever the implement is with this, and then you start doing your work. So that's what this does. So we'll put this back down so I don't forget. Let me hop out. I can show you a couple other things that are in her. Sorry for all that. This is if you, when the PTO in the back, those two arms that raise and lower, if you wanted to lower a little bit slower or faster, that's what this knob does. You can twist it, which will control how fast it moves up and down. This is for the differential. If you're spinning tires, then you just push down on this with the clutch in, push down on it, which engages the differential, and then you can take your foot off when you don't want to use it anymore. That's what that does. This button, or this lever here, is for the 4-wheel drive. So right now I've got it in 4-wheel drive. If I want it in 2-wheel drive, I would push it down, clutch engage to do this, but I keep it in 4-wheel drive. So that's what that button does. And that, oh, a couple more things. Let me pull back up here. Windshield wipers, right here. This one has air conditioning or heat, and it has a radio. Basically kind of an escape hatch up here at the top. And now I think I've covered everything. I'm gonna close the window that I opened up. All right, now I'll go back and show you the back of the tractor where the PTO is, so you can see that. Mess back here, 'cause I've been using her. So that's the PTO, and that's what spins, which engages whatever you're using. So if you're using a brush hog, that will spin, and then you've got this PTO shaft that attaches to the brush hog, which spins it. So if you're going to be mowing or cutting down brush or whatever, that thing is spinning. Do not ever be around this thing when it's on and running. Don't mess with it. You don't want it to grab a piece of clothing and rip an arm off. That's a terrible idea, so don't do that. But that's what that is. These arms, they move around. So for my tractor, I can take this out, and then if you need to move this in and out in order to attach it to your implement, that's how that works. Let me put this back in. You're backing up to your implement and you can't quite get these where they need to be in order to attach it. You can squeeze down on this. I don't know if I can do this with one hand. You squeeze down on this and you can pull that part out. So you can move this in and out, which will help you to connect it to whatever implement that you're using. And you can put a ball on the end of it if you want to tow something around. This is for the hydraulics, which I have not had to do yet. I haven't had to mess with this, so I am not... Couldn't tell you how to operate this part. I'm guessing you just plug stuff into it. It's got the quick releases. But again, I don't have anything that I don't have anything that connects to that thing, so... But that's it. That's how you operate this tractor. Now, if you've got a tractor that has a hydrostatic transmission, again, where you don't have the clutch, I'm assuming everything's probably similar, but you don't have to worry about this. And I don't even think the hydrostatics have something like this. I honestly don't know. I've never been in one. I just know how to operate mine. This is if you want to tilt the steering wheel. That's what this does. So in a nutshell, that's how you operate it. Yeah, that's how you operate it. I was gonna say maybe I'll get in there and turn on or run through all this stuff, but you wouldn't be able to hear me if I was talking because it's a little bit loud. But that's Big Red. That's what I call her, or call him. So now I'll go pull the old tractor out and I'll show you that one. All right, I'm just gonna keep it in the garage for now. It's a little windy out there. So we'll talk about her in here. So I'm going to take you off of my little stand and flip you around. So this is my 1949 Ford 8N. I love this tractor. I love her so much. She's my favorite. I love riding around on this thing every chance that I can get. She leaks a little bit, a lot maybe, but she still works. I just continually check the fluids. But again, 1949 Ford 8N, 25 horsepower, not near as complicated as Big Red, but I just want to show you how she works. Actually, we'll disconnect the battery tender here, and I'll start her once I sit on it. All right, so how you run at least an old Ford 8N. I'm sure different tractors have different methods to do it, but this is how you run her. So this is the clutch. Those are the brakes. Same thing as Big Red. I can brake up the right tire, brake up the left tire, or you do them both at the same time. So that's how that works. Most of the time I hit both of them and stop it. It's got 4 gears and a reverse. Let me come around the top of the steering wheel here. That's the actual starter button. This is the throttle. Key, so we'll go ahead and start it. So turn the key on. This is the choke, and for this thing to start, you gotta have the choke out. So to start her, clutch down. She has to be in neutral, so make sure it moves around. Again, have the choke out. This is gonna be a little tricky to do with one hand, so I'll have to jump up here and grab it because it likes to go in. And then you push this button. We'll see if she starts because it's cold. So that's how she runs. So the gears for this, that's reverse. That's first. Second. Third. Fourth. So you get it started and running. Clutch has been pushed down the entire time, unless it's in neutral. But put it in gear, take your foot off the clutch, and she's gonna move. And she'll move aggressively, so you have to ease off the clutch. Don't just pop it, or she'll jerk pretty hard. So that's how she moves. And then if I'm bebopping along, she's in second gear, and I need to stop and put it in reverse, then just step on the brakes, put the clutch in, all the way over, into reverse, and then she'll back up. So that's how you operate this part of the tractor. And again, this is the throttle, so you can speed it up and slow it down. Let me hop off of her. So to operate the PTO on, I call her Ollie Mae, that's her name, you have this lever right here. So with the clutch engaged, you push this down, and then the PTO will engage. This little lever here is kind of like the draft lever on Big Red. And again, I have not used this. I'm not even sure if this works, but that's what this is. So again, push this down, that engages the PTO. So when I take my foot off the clutch, the PTO will be spinning. And that's it. This one has an overriding clutch on it. So the reason for this, if I didn't have this on here and just had the regular PTO on it, and I've got an implement attached, and I take my foot off the clutch, this thing is going to continue to spin and keep pushing the tractor. So it could run you into a tree, whatever's in front of you, the tractor is going to keep moving. But if you put this overriding clutch over the PTO, then when I push down the clutch, this will stop spinning so that the tractor doesn't continue to move. So this is really important. I'm glad that this tractor had this on it. I'm really happy about that. But that's what that is. If I want to raise these up and down on this tractor. This lever to raise and lower. That's what this lever does. If I want to put this at an angle, so let's say I put a blade on the back of this, just a flat blade, almost looks like a snowplow, and I want to do some gravel work, and I want to angle it to get like the edge of a road, then you use this and you can spin and you can raise and lower this side, which will give you an angle one way or the other. So that's what that does. That's Ollie Mae. Not a lot to her. Gas, battery, little old toolbox. The lights on her do not work. Someday I'll get those hooked up, and this thing is all locked up. So we'll take this out and put a new switch in here to turn the lights on. But I'm assuming maybe at some point that's what this did. But again, it doesn't move. It's locked up. But that, let me scoot around here. That's Ollie. So she's pretty easy to use. There's a lot more switches and knobs and all that stuff on Big Red. So there you go. That's how to operate a modern tractor and an old one like this old Ford 8N. So I hope that helped. I hope you got something out of this video. If you have any questions, let me know. If I maybe got something wrong, let me know. I would appreciate it. Again, I'm all new at this, tractors and homestead and all that. You know, I was in the Navy for 26 years, and then I did woodworking, which, by the way, I gotta brag about this sea chest that I just finished, that I've got to ship to a customer. I do all this artwork by hand. It's called pyrography, is the cool name for it. I know this video wasn't supposed to turn into a woodworking video, but that's why she's sitting here. But yeah, this is what I did when I got out. I never messed with stuff like this. So it's been a learning curve for me. So like I said, if I got something wrong or you got any advice, whatever, let me know. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Like, please, subscribe, hit that little bell so you know when I do any future videos. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you next time.